Let's take something ordinary and make it a little bit more magical, like this little piece of medical equipment. With a little imagination, you can turn it into something magical. My name is Katora, and you have found the Mythical Maker's Workshop. May I introduce to you the magnetic stirrer. So what exactly is this little machine? This is a magnetic stirrer, and it is designed to mix liquids without having to stir them by hand. Inside the bottle, you'll place one of these little magnetic stir bars. When the machine is on, the magnetic inside the stirrer spins underneath the bottle. That'll pull the little magnetic bar inside the liquid along with it, creating a tiny vortex. And that is where the magic starts to happen. For the first test, I'm just using water so you can really see what's happening. But once we add some mica powder, that little vortex becomes much more interesting. I actually found this particular little machine while looking for a simple way to make a potion bottle spin without having to build and wire my own motor. This is actually a Christmas present from my brother, so just to be clear, this video isn't sponsored by the manufacturer. I'm simply putting a Christmas present to good use. Because I wanted to see how well it would work with an actual potion bottle, I grabbed one off the shelf that I previously made and gave it a spin. And that's when I knew I had the beginning of something magical. Now that I know the medical spinner works, it's time to make the potion. For this one, I am using distilled water, isopropyl alcohol, alcohol inks, and a few different mica powders. And for the bottle, I decided to give an old whiskey bottle a second life. For the potion itself, I started with isopropyl alcohol, then I added a few drops of alcohol ink. 6 drops or less is plenty to give the liquid its color. And a quick swirl to mix the ink. Then I added my mica powder and gave everything another swirl. I kept adding small amounts of mica powder until the color and shimmer is what I was looking for. Once I was happy with it, I added the distilled water. Then I topped it off with isopropyl alcohol to keep my 4:1 ratio of water to alcohol. And now for the important part. Let's see it spin! And there it is. The potion works. I guess technically the project is finished. We have a potion, we have the machine, but there's just one problem. This still looks like a bottle spinning on the top of a medical device. And I know we can make this look much more magical. Now that the potion is working, it's time to hide the machine that makes it happen. I don't want to accidentally turn my potion making machine into a sculpture. The first idea I had for this case was to make it out of Sculpey, and that didn't go according to plan. After going through the oven the second time, it broke. So back to the drawing board I went, and this time I'm going to work with something a little bit more forgiving. Cardboard. I cut a strip of cardboard and wrapped it around the base of the spinner, and then making the opening for the control knob. Once I had the right size, I taped the ends together to make a little ring around the machine. I also cut an opening in the back for the power cable, because even magic needs a little electricity sometimes. For the top edge, I'm using a scrap piece of EVA foam half-round dowel. Then I added another strip of cardboard along the bottom, so it will be nice and flush with the table. Now it is time to cover all the cardboard. I used just one layer of papier-mâché here. It will help hide the fact that this is corrugated cardboard underneath, while also adding a little more rigidity to the piece. While that is drying, I added a little cover to the front. This little piece will hide the control knob, but I made it removable so I still can get to the controls when I need to. Now that the basic shape is finished, it's time to decide what magical object this will become. For this one, I'm thinking more fortune teller celestial theme. And to accomplish that, I'll be using Das air dry clay. I started with an all-seeing eye for the front cover. While that eye is being crafted, let me see if I can predict your future. Yes, it is coming clear to me now. I see you liking this video and subscribing to the Mythical Makers Workshop, and I see more Mythical makes in your near future. Then I added imperfect little stars and a pair of moons around the base. I want this to feel handmade and a little ancient, so I wasn't too concerned with making everything perfectly symmetrical. Once the clay had dried, I covered the whole piece with my clay slip. This will give the surface a nice stone-like texture, and more importantly, helps disguise the fact that it is just cardboard and papier-mâché underneath. Now it's time to make this little machine look like it belongs in a fortune teller's cabinet. I started with a coat of tinted gesso. Then I gave the whole piece a couple coats of black acrylic paint. Once that was dry, I went over everything with a wash of gray paint. I let the wash settle into all the nooks and crannies. This will help bring out all the texture I worked so hard to create. I didn't let the wash completely cover the black paint underneath. I want some of the darkness to peek through. Once that was dry, it was time for my favorite part, using rub and buff to pop out the details. And if you want to make something look old, make sure you grab some Grecian gold. I'm using it sparingly on the raised details, just letting the gold catch the edges of the stars and moon and the all-seeing eye. If you've never used rub and buff before, don't forget the second half of the name. You actually need to buff it. This will help remove the extra wax and leave behind the gold and give it a much richer finish. I have to admit, I only figured this out myself a few years ago. At this point, the artifact is almost finished. But the bottle needs a few more details to make it feel like it belongs here. I don't want to decorate the bottle too much. The swirling potion is the real star of the show here, and I don't want to cover it up with a bunch of decorations. So I'm keeping the bottle fairly simple. I'll just cover the neck with some hemp cord to hide the air gap at the top of the liquid and add an old-fashioned label. Then I'll give the cord a wash in transparent burnt umber. I'm adding a little piece of black paper inside the case. This tiny detail will help hide what's really going on underneath. Now for the label. After cutting it out, I used a brown permanent marker to go around the edge to disguise the freshly printed look. Then I shaved some chalk pastels. I used a makeup brush to add the chalk pastels. It is a simple way to make a brand new label look like it's been sitting around for decades. And finally, I used some decorative string to tie the label onto the bottle. And that's it, our little illusion potion is ready. There's something really satisfying about making your own spooky decor, and knowing that it came from your own 2 hands. I hope this video has inspired you to go out and make something of your own. My name is Katora, and I will see you next time.